Hi everybody, this is Tish Aitken, and I'm here to discuss a very powerful summer ahead of all of us. This week we have a powerful solar eclipse in Cancer on July 12th, 2018 at 10:48 p.m. The eclipse is going to occur at 20 degrees of Cancer, and it's forming an exact opposition to Pluto. That is a major deal. Pluto is the planet of death and rebirth. It is the cosmic compost which eliminates, which no longer serves us, in order that we transcend and we uplevel our lives. The thing about this summer, in many ways, is that for each of us, we're going to have to determine what we need to let go of, what is blocking you from what you need to accomplish. The solar eclipse itself is a conjunction of the sun and moon in Cancer. The moon loves being in the sign of Cancer. The moon rules the sign of Cancer. It's very emotive there. It's very nurturing. It's a cardinal water sign. It's very action oriented. Yet it's in opposition to Pluto in Capricorn, which means there are a lot of power dynamics. There could be a lot of death and release and endings, whether it's metaphoric or literal. The positive in this is that for each of us, we need to figure out, how do we access our power? How do we tap into that? And there may be some big karmic lessons. And that's the thing about eclipses. We have new moons and full moons every month, but new moon and full moon eclipses are like new moons and full moons on steroids. They're going to bring things up to a whole other level, and you can anticipate that. The fact that we have 3 eclipses this summer is also an anomaly, because we generally have 2 eclipses every 6 months. So we start this eclipse series with a new eclipse series of Cancer Capricorn. That starts on Thursday. And that's a big deal. It's also a very manifesting new moon, because the moon is in the sign it rules, and it forms a grand. Okay, so the moon in Cancer is forming a very lucky grand trine, which means it's forming a trine to Jupiter, which is the luckiest planet and represents abundance and expansion and good fortune. And Jupiter just stationed direct on July 10th. So in the summer of several retrograde planets, thankfully we have the luckiest planet direct in the sign of Scorpio, which happens to be a very emotional sign, but a very healing sign. One of my favorites, maybe because I am a Scorpio. But nonetheless, the new moon is going to trine Jupiter, and they both are going to trine Neptune. And Neptune is in Pisces, and Neptune represents the dream and imagination. It can be extremely emotional, and it likely will be for many people. You might vacillate between feeling very emotional and feeling very inspired. And again, there are going to be a lot of endings this summer, because we're dealing with Pluto opposite the sun is no joke, and we have another eclipse that I'll be discussing more coming at the end of the month, with a full moon opposition squaring Mars, or aspecting Mars. That's going to be difficult, and the nodes of fate. But the point is that this summer we're all focusing on reviewing what we need to release in order to uplevel and empower ourselves. And if you feel the feelings this week and the next couple of weeks, because Cancer is a very emotional water sign, and if you let yourself to feel the feelings and you work with what you want, what is your dream? Look back to last summer, because some points Mercury is going to be stationing retrograde on July 26th, and it's going to be echoing where Jupiter stationed retrograde on March 8th of this year. And think back to last summer when we had that solar eclipse in Leo that everybody was talking about, that total solar eclipse, which was at Regulus, the royal fixed star, the kingmaker. Are you doing what makes you happy? Are you pursuing your heart path? Well, this summer is again a time to eliminate people and situations and things that are disabling you from pursuing your heart path. There may be some things that are thrown upon you, and with eclipses, things are very unpredictable. So a lot of this you can't handle. What you can handle is how you deal with the things that come up. If there are negative people or situations, are you dealing with it? Are you continuing to circle in that pattern and expecting it to end? Are you taking action? Mars is the planet of action, and it is retrograde all summer among all these planets. And it's a personal planet, so it's a little more tricky because the outer planets retrograde every year. We all feel with that. We deal with that for several months. Mars retrogrades once every 2 years, and that's our energy force. And it's how we get things done. It's how we express our anger. But with it retrograde until August 28th, it's a good time for each of us to review. Are we being effective in our actions? Are we taking the steps we need to take to pursue our heart path? The North Node is going to be in Leo until November 6th. I think that's something in the background of this summer, that there could be a lot of things that come up. But again, the North Node is what we're meant to pursue, and it rules the heart chakra. Leo rules the heart chakra. Are you doing what you're meant to do to make you happy? Are you being of service to yourself and to others? But I think with the North Node in Leo, you need to find what makes you happy and what catalyzes your creativity and your passion so that you can be more accessible and available to others. And secondly, Mercury is going to retrograde on July 26th. So you may want to make decisions now in the next couple of weeks before Mercury retrogrades, because it means that for the next 2 eclipses, we're going to have Mercury and Mars retrograde. So we're going to have a full moon eclipse on July 27th. And a solar eclipse on August 11th. So that's 3 eclipses in a short period of time. We're in eclipse season all summer. There are going to be tremendous emotions, lots of endings, and the energy that we dealt with a few weeks ago, it actually was, well, it feels like a few weeks ago. It started on June 8th of last month. We had the pairing of Mars, which is a traditional malefic, and the South Node. And the South Node is what we're meant to release. Because Mars is retrograde, and the nodes are basically always retrograding, they're going to meet up 2 more times. They're going to meet up again on July 21st and make an exact conjunction at 5 degrees of Aquarius, and they're going to meet up a third and final time on September 26th at 4 degrees of Aquarius, I believe. The fact is, you've got to release karmic behavioral patterns that aren't serving you, relationships and associations that are toxic, and maybe implement and strategize and bring new patterns into your life. And that's the way to look at it. And a grand trine is extremely lucky. And we've got this grand trine in the water all summer long during the eclipse season. So again, Jupiter being part of that is the luckiest planet. It's the planet that gives us our vision. It gives us a sense of adventure, a sense of learning. And then Neptune is the dream. You've got the vision and the dream, and they're working together all summer, you know. So try to, well, that trine, not the grand trine, but those planets are trining one another all summer. And in this eclipse chart, this is, you know, in effect all summer. And we also have a grand trine this week of Venus, the planet of love and beauty, although she is in her fall in the placement of Virgo. She's not as happy there as she is in Leo, and she just changed signs, but she's forming a trine to Uranus, which just recently entered the sign of Taurus. That's a very innovative, exciting energy, and they're both making a trine to Saturn, which stabilizes the innovation. So create, manifest, review your patterns, and do a lot of releasing this summer, because this is the time to plan for what you want the remainder of 2018 to be, and more is to come.